All right. Hi, everybody. How are you tonight? This is election night in the primary. So this is a big night for a lot of us who are on the ballot this primary election. It's very nerve-wracking. Fortunately, I've been in court all day and been distracted. But Stephanie and I are going to talk a little bit about the election process, what happens and why we do what we do. So Stephanie, you have been with me through this whole experience, and I'm so thankful for you.
Well, how are you feeling tonight other than being busy and nerve-wracked right now?
Well, I've been pretty distracted all day because I've been in court all day, but every once in a while, and I've got tons of friends and family that have been sending me well wishes today and hoping I do well. And I'm just, hoping I make it through the primary. There's 3 of us in the primary. So those of you that are familiar or not familiar with judicial races, what happens is if there's more than 2 people in your primary, in your race, you will have a primary. So unlike most races where you do a primary to decide your party candidate, in a judicial race, if you have 3 or more people, you run a primary to decide the final 2 who are going to run the general election. But there is a little exception, and that exception is if you're lucky enough, very few people ever achieve this, to get more than 50% plus 1 vote, 50% plus 1, you win the election. You don't have to run the general. And that's really hard to get. So none of us really anticipate that we're going to do that. I think there's been maybe 5 or 6 people that have done it in the history of elections, but it's really unlikely to happen. So we're just hoping our best, working hard to try to make sure that things go well. And we've done what we can.
So what exactly, I feel like this whole process has been so different. The past few months have been different, I think, for all of our lives lately. But in general, what is the difference between a primary election and a general election?
So in most of course, in most political races, it's the primary is solely to decide your party candidate. So who's going to run for the Republican Party, who's going to run for the Democratic Party, who's going to run for the Independent. But in the judicial elections, it's just we're going to boil it down to the final 2. So, there's a lot of people who say it's really good to have a primary because you kind of get a feel to where you're running, how you're running with the public, because a lot of the public don't know who the judicial candidates are. And that's actually one thing I really do love about the election process is it forces the candidates to get out and get to know the people. It forces the people, it gives the people the opportunity to get to know the candidates and what people stand for. And so that's actually been really fun. And I've made a lot of really good friends in the other candidates.
Yeah. So what has been, if you reflect back for the past, I don't even know how many weeks we've been doing this, and how I feel like it's just all blurred together, right? Week after week. But what's been one of the most difficult parts of this campaign for you?
Well, really before we had, just really ever since we've started this, really in September, October, it's just been the stress of going to multiple events when we were still out and about, going to breakfast and lunch and dinners and having meetings all the time. And even since the COVID restrictions, we've had a lot of Zoom meetings. So you end up spending a lot of time in meetings, but it's fun because you get to know people. Sometimes you sit on a call for 2 hours to speak for 3 minutes or sometimes 2 minutes and listen. And sometimes we go to a meeting and 95% of the people are the other candidates. And so you're there for a couple of voters, but it's been really, I really dreaded the idea at first, because even though I'm a social person, I don't like to ask people for things, but I've really enjoyed getting out there and getting to know people. And so that's the good part of it.
Yeah. And so, okay, on the flip side, what's been the most inspiring thing for you during this campaign?
The most inspiring, I think just the idea that there are people that really care. They take the time to educate themselves. They take the time to form organizations like the League of Women Voters who try to educate people about judges, who try to help the public make the decision between all these different candidates and explain why certain candidates stand for what they believe in or don't. It's really been a good experience. So it inspires me that I see people that are out there for free, spending their time because they truly know the value of a vote and how important it is to educate voters. And I've been inspired by those individuals. And there's a lot of them out there that are spending their time. There's Brian Harris of the Independent Black Voters. There's Dr. Sandra Cosgrove of League of Women Voters. There's just a lot of organizations that are taking the time to interview people. Kevin Peterson of the firefighters, who are trying, people that are trying to educate the voters, and really important.
And I think in a way, with us being in this quarantine and everybody doing everything virtually, it's almost given us a new platform to kind of go out there and meet people and speak to people. So
Yeah.
before, when you had to make meetings or not be able to make meetings because it's at the same time or it's too far away from each other, you can't get from one place to another. Now you can just jump on a Zoom call and then get off one and go right on another one. And then you go from meeting to meeting and then meet so many different people and, you know, so many different platforms. But I mean, in a way, we kind of had this different experience, but it's also been a good thing because we've been able to, I think you've been able to reach as many people this way as you would have if you had to go to every single event and every single social,
Right.
you know? So I think
I
that,
think
you know,
you're right.
this is different but it's a good different, it seems like.
I
So
guess it's a good different. It is really different, but I've enjoyed it. I mean, I really did. I really dreaded it, but I really enjoyed it. I don't like asking people for money. So the fundraising part, people don't realize it. These judicial elections are extremely expensive. And I don't like asking people for money. And so that's been a really hard part. And so I've often said, just go to my campaign website, pickardforjudge.com, and there's a donate button. But it's just hard. It's hard to ask for things. But I have been so inspired and impressed by my friends and acquaintances who are willing to do videos for me, who are willing to do posts for me, and willingly do everything they can to get the word out. And I really appreciate that. So probably that's the most inspiring, not just the community members, but my friends and family and others who help to get the word out and spend their time doing it. I mean, Barb Collins of Mission High School was so sweet. She did a video for me in support of my campaign the other night. I just randomly saw it and I just thought it was so sweet. Edward Kovacs has done it. I mean, your kids have done it. It's just been so amazing for me, for friends to get on and do this. And I had one where all my kids did one. I had ones for my friends from law school, prior clients, people who got on and did personal testimonials about they know who I am and they know that I'm, you know, have integrity in what I stand for. That has been really uplifting to me and amidst all the stress of it. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful to all those people who have taken the time.
Right. Well, you knew you had supporters. Now they actually came out and put them in videos for you and pictures.
Yeah, so it kind of was it was difficult for a while, but I really appreciated it and that they took the time to do it. So that's been good and that's been inspiring. I feel like I should turn my camera because you're getting this real short view of me.
Oh,
I've got some kid pictures in the background. That's a better view. I'm sorry about that. I was just holding it. So that's been inspiring. And I think because, you know, I've been in politics for a while because of my husband, to find people are willing to come out and do so much for one another. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that.
Has there been something that's been super memorable to you during this journey? A story or somebody that you met, maybe somebody that came up to you and said something and it just kind of impacted you?
Well, I think that we underestimate the value of our words. And so, yeah, I think absolutely. I've had people that have come up to me and said to me, you know, I had a judge and they were so understanding and kind. They were firm, but fair. And it impacted me and it made a difference in my life. I've had other people that have come up and said, I had a judge that was just a jerk to me and they were rude and they weren't, you know, didn't let me tell my story. And that impacts me too, because I think the few minutes people spend in court will stay with them forever because people go to court when they're in their life crisis and difficult times. So it really has reinforced the importance of the job that I'm running for. And I hope that I can do a good job for the public.
I think you will, but you know, I'm biased.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
So when do we know the final results? I mean, we knew today was going to be a big day. It's
Oh,
just, it's the day that everybody needs to get their ballots in, and people were lining up at the in-person facility, like the in-person
there were
location.
two main in-person voting facilities, and I heard the line was literally around the block. And I had friends, Sarah and Rod, who waited for 5 hours to vote. And she sent me a text 5 hours later, we voted. So I appreciate people that are spending the time to do that. And you're just using a paper ballot. So tonight you have to vote and get your ballot postmarked by tonight, June 9th. Then the Secretary of State will accept ballots until June 16th at, I can't remember, it's 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Then they certify the ballots to make sure they're all valid and results. And then from that point on, that the final results on the 19th, you believe. So I will tell you this, with my husband, who's in politics, ran, we thought that we knew what the final decision would be. And so what happened was we did a little vacation because we'd been working on the the primary for so long. And we did a little vacation. And then during the entire vacation, they did 3 recounts of all the votes because the vote was so close. So you really don't know. I would say we won't really know official results till probably, the 3rd week of June. So you're supposed to know the 19th. Today, you'll get a really good view. Today, you'll get a view of if you're going to make it through the primary or not. And then by the 16th, you'll get a very good view of what the final result probably is in 95% of the elections. But there will be some that are really close, and they're going to do a couple of recounts, I would imagine.
Right.
So who knows?
So is there like a website or something that we can go on to and look at that? Is there like an actual count or something? Like
there is, and it is it's like Clark County voter turnout.
We had it. Yeah,
we have it up. So we have one. So basically what we're going to do after we get off this call is I'll register to track the vote, and then the results will come in. And then usually around 7 or 7:30, we're actually going to get on, and you see, boom, there are the first voting numbers that come out. So It's going to be interesting tonight. We'll see how it goes. But do you have the actual website? I wrote it down. But
let me see. I think it's nevada.totalvote.com.
Okay, that's it, nevada.totalvote.com. And then you can pick the races that you want to follow. They'll allow you to register it. They'll go to the top of the page, and then you'll follow those votes, and they'll give you the percentage of votes. But again, we don't really know how many votes they're going to be. So far, 212,000 votes have come in as of Monday. We anticipated around 214, 215, but it looks like we might get, maybe another 20 or 30,000. You just don't know. So even though you're going to get a percentage, you don't actually get the final vote tonight. Like in most elections, you actually know by midnight what the result is. This is unusual. We'll have another week, and then we're going to have the vote certified. So it'll be a couple more weeks, actually.
Wow. So it was nerve-wracking today already, and then it's like another couple of weeks, right?
Some people hopefully will be, the decision will be the wide enough margin that, even if every vote goes against you, you'll still be able to prevail. So you'll have an idea tonight. I think most people have an idea. Not everybody. A lot of us will still be waiting to see if we can make it through the primary, but that's the goal, to make it through the primary right now. That's our main goal. Very few people will actually win it in the primary. Very unusual to do that. So we're just trying to get it through the primary and make it to the general, so we can start this whole process over at the end of June. Let's go to the November ballot.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, so it's just like one thing after another, and I'm sitting right here on the edge of my seat with you. I feel like I'm gonna at 7 o'clock. Funny. I'll be on that website.
No, I actually was, when my husband ran, I was on the website, refresh till midnight. And I think I did that all through, till about midnight. But one of the things I thought was funny is my son had called, and he was like, "Are you so excited? Booyah, this is going to be great." And I said, therein lies the difference between a man and a woman. And I don't mean to be sexist about this, but I tend to be like, I hope I make it through. I hope I'm not embarrassed. It is really hard to put yourself out there. And the first time I saw one of my yard signs, I was like, oh my goodness, my yard sign's out there. But it's hard. And so my son was like, this is exciting. You're going to show everybody how well you're going to do. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's just wait to see how it goes. So it's going to be interesting. But the good news is now we'll at least be in a wait and see game for the next couple of weeks. And there's not a whole lot I can do at this point.
Right. Well, maybe that's a weight lifted off your shoulders for a little bit too, right? Just wait.
I know. I have to look at it that way, right? There's nothing I can do for the next few weeks other than sit and wait. That's true.
Right. So, at this point, is there something you just want to say to everybody? Like all the people you want to shout out to and all that?
I feel
like
you.
There's somebody right there.
She's got this. Stop.
I've been telling her this.
He's a very good supporter.
I have been telling her this the entire time. I said, you know what? It's fine. I'm not nervous. It's gonna be great.
We'll see how it goes. See how it goes.
She's watched me through 2 elections, and so I get it. I understand how nerve-wracking this can be, but she's done everything she can. She's put it all out there. At this point, it's completely up to the voters to decide. Right. And exactly. She's adorable. Who's not going to vote for her?
Well,
you got a coach, a motivational coach right there that's in the locker room with you right before you go out for the game, and he's giving you that speech. Right.
He always is. He's always my cheerleader, and I appreciate that. And I mean, my whole family's been wonderful. My kids are texting me all the time, like, how's it going? My family, my parents will call tonight. My sister's already been on, how are things going? So I really have a good support system. My good friends like you are encouraging me. So, I mean, I really want to do this for the right reason. I believe I am a public servant. I believe that people who are elected have an opportunity to make change in our community and have an opportunity to work with our community, get out there and get programs adopted, make sure there's justice within the courts, there's access to justice. That's why I'm running. I'm running for that. There's no personal, ego in this. It's about being an agent of change and hope for our community. And so that's really the message that I have out there. And that's what I hope that, is in store for the future if I have that opportunity.
I actually have a bracelet every day that says "Be the change," and I feel like that. So you're my role model. One day I hope to be the change you too.
You're so sweet. I really have tried to make change in the juvenile drug court program, the Keeping Kids in School program, within the dependency system. I try to make a difference because I believe I have an opportunity to do that. So, but you know what? Sometimes an opportunity is just to be kind to somebody. When I was very young and when I was in elementary school, I was just always, the kid that got left out, and I just didn't feel like I ever belonged. And I remember there was the student body president in high school named Ryan Chin walked by me in the hallway at school one day, and he said, "Margaret, how are you doing?" That is all he said when I was a senior in high school in 1983. And that meant the world to me. He treated me with such dignity. It taught me that no matter who you are in the world, everybody deserves to have dignity. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And that moment taught me how I will always treat everybody in this world, no matter what your job, your position is. I will always be kind and respectful. And that was a change, a moment of change for me. So I'm grateful. Ryan Chin, that was a moment of change for me. So thank you.
Wherever Ryan is right now, he just got a shout out to.
Yes, he's changed my life. So that's what I think we all need to do for each other, right? To be agents of change, to be kind, to be generous, to give people dignity and the opportunities that we deserve as individuals, to make sure that we are the person that we were brought here to this earth to be. So that's my hope. So I hope that I have your vote. I hope that tonight is a night of happiness and celebration. In an hour I could be in tears, but I'm not really a crier, so it's unlikely that I would be. I would just recognize that there's something else I need to learn and something else I'm going to do in my life. So we will see how it goes. We'll see. We'll see.
It's all the positive vibes out there. I know my whole family in the house is rooting for you. Like we've been rooting for you since day one, but I think today especially, like I was talking to my husband earlier and I'm just like, okay, this is what we're going to do tonight. Okay.
I know. I thought, okay, we're going to go out to sushi because that's what we're going to do. If it all goes well, we are all out to sushi this weekend. So that would be fun.
I'm going to be the first person to make that reservation. We're going to go out for sushi.
That's where we're going to go. Kaizen, we'll be there at Kaizen Sushi. We love it. I better make a reservation. So and I want to thank you for Kate. Kate made a wonderful little video for me today. I think we were going to play it for everybody as our final thank you for everybody. So I want to say to all my friends, thank you to everybody who's really helped me do this through this election, whether you've been sending me a text of support and been doing a video for me, posting my flyer, putting a yard sign up, being at my kickoff. You have made me feel like I can do this. And you have been the reason I could believe in myself enough to do this and to put myself on the line for this. So I'm hopeful that everything goes well. And I want you to know I love all of you. And I'm grateful for at least having this opportunity to have run this race. And I hope it comes out that I get to continue after tonight. So Kaylin did a great video for me and I thought it was just adorable. And Stephanie sent it to me as a surprise. And so her little girl has done this video and I think we're going to try to put it up. Is that right, Stephanie?
Yes, I got it up. So.
Here we go. I love everybody. Thank you for all of your support. This is I love you. So this is how you say I love you in sign language. I love you. Thank you, everybody. God be with you. You're the best.
Hi, my name's Caitlin and I'm from November. Today I'm reminding you to go out and vote. Read about the candidates and choose the right people like my friend Margaret. She does a lot of good work with helping families and kids like me to be happy. Today's the last day to drop the ballot into the mail. So you get this really cool sticker. Your turn.
Spin in circles.
Your spin.
I love it. Oh, that's adorable, Stephanie. You did a great job on that. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you, especially you, Stephanie, because you have been my cheerleader every day, every minute of it. And you came up with this idea for Tuesday Talks for Margaret. So everybody, thank you for everything you've done. We hope that things go well tonight. And I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for your support. And always feel free to get in touch with me if I can ever do anything for you or your family. All right. Good night, everybody.